everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington. And before we dive into today's conspiracy theory, which is where was Mauricio during Kathy Hilton's alleged Aspen meltdown? Again, we have been discovering all of these inconsistencies in Lisa Rinna's alleged account of what happened between her and Kathy's alleged behavior in Aspen. And to me, this is a huge missing piece. So we're going to watch what he said and then we'll dissect it. But before we do that, you guys know what to do. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it when we go live. Be sure to share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And don't forget to check out the description box below. We have tons of goodies there. And also, please be sure to shop the Love Collection. Grab something for yourself or for someone you love. So with that, let's dive right on in. So as we all know, there have been major inconsistencies between what Lisa Rinna alleged went down in Aspen. So it's pretty much been debunked that Kathy said the N-word, that she went on some homophobic rant. Like, I don't think anybody believes that at this point. I think that's all kind of been debunked. It's a big nothing burger. It's a bunch of BS. Now, let's dive into the other stuff that Lisa Rinna is alleging happened. She's alleging that Kathy had this meltdown in the Sprinter, and then from the Sprinter, it went into Kyle's house in Aspen. She was yelling. She was throwing things. She was stomping up and down. She was jumping on her glasses and breaking her glasses and punching walls and throwing things. And it was so scary that Lisa Rinna had to lock herself in her room. Okay. So if all of that happened, not in the Sprinter, but actually at Kyle's house in Aspen, then how come Mauricio seemed to have no clue, no idea that anything went down? So let's watch, and then we'll discuss.
Has anyone checked her ass? We tried to go in her room, it was pitch dark, sleeping, and then she had text saying, I'm not flying back on the plane.
Well, I didn't see her when I went home to
She's still sleeping.
obviously.
Kathy's not on the plane.
Okay, you guys. Okay. Now, listen. Does it make sense? Does it make sense that Mauricio would have no idea why Kathy Hilton was not on the private jet if he was at the house when she had this alleged meltdown where she's stomping things, breaking glasses, messing up the house, throwing things on the wall, having a temper tantrum to the point where Lisa Rinna is claiming she has PTSD and is locked away in her room. Does it make sense that Mauricio would be so cool and casual, like, so where's Kathy? Where is she? I'm confused. Like, literally acting like nothing happened. Like, it really there wasn't some huge meltdown in his house, right? So to me, that shows that, sure, maybe Kathy popped off, but way not to the extent that Lisa Rinna is claiming. A couple of things. Number one, that is Mauricio's home. I highly doubt he would have let Kathy stomp on things, throw things at the wall, have a huge temper tantrum, when it comes to actually affecting his property in his home. We saw him insert himself in the Dorit and Kyle drama, and that was just drama. Again, this is Mauricio's house. They were thinking about selling it. I think they've since sold it, so he probably didn't want his property damaged. He's a real estate guy. He cares about property. It's his home. So I highly doubt that Mauricio would not have stepped in and said, hey, Kathy, let's calm down or whatever, blah, 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 blah. He had no problem saying that when she wanted corn, Kathy simply wanted some grilled corn, and he had all the smoke when she wanted some grilled corn. So I'm sure he would have had all the smoke if she was knocking on his walls and throwing things and having this alleged temper tantrum. But the way that he was like, so where's Kathy? I don't know. I came back because he had gone skiing. In the morning, he had gone skiing. Oh, when I came back to change, she wasn't there. Like all like lackadaisical. So wouldn't it make more sense that he would be like, is Kathy okay? How is Kathy getting back? Last night was rough, or whatever the case may be. He would have had some level of concern or some level of understanding of why Kathy was not on the private jet if this alleged meltdown happened. But the way he said it sounded like it was a legitimate, normal, genuine question. Hey, so where's Kathy? Like nothing happened, right? So to me, that's a red flag. So another question we have with this situation is, allegedly, they're also saying, oh, there's this big cover up. Bravo is saying everyone don't talk about it. There's this huge cover up. Kathy's saying no one talk about it. Well, if there was this huge cover up, why would Mauricio ask the question in the first place? Why would Mauricio even bring it up if there was this huge cover up? If there's this huge cover up, wouldn't they just be on the plane? Wouldn't they just not bring it up? Wouldn't they just have some throwaway line like, oh, Kathy got her own private jet back, or Kathy went to go meet Rick and party elsewhere? If there was this huge, elaborate Bravo NBC cover up, to save Kathy, why would Mauricio bring up her not being on the plane in the first place? That doesn't make sense. If there's a cover up, they would have covered it up. But by him asking where she is, it opens the door for the discussion. So again, this whole Bravo NBC cover up doesn't make sense because Mauricio is on the plane literally like nothing happened, nothing's wrong. Where's Kathy opening the door to talk about it? If there's a cover up, where is the cover up, right? That is assuming Mauricio actually stayed at the Aspen house, because if he stayed at the Aspen house, how come he literally seemed like he had no idea that Kathy was upset that there was this whole thing that happened? To me, it makes more sense. If Kathy came home, she was pissed, maybe she was yelling, maybe she was upset, this, that, and the third. She goes off to her room, shuts the door, sleeps in her bunk bed because Kyle is rude to her and put her in a bunk bed. She's pissed. She's ready to go. She wants to get out of there. She bounces in the morning. That tracks with Mauricio the next day on the private jet. Hey, where's Kathy? Because someone coming home, being drunk and being pissed off and being upset and popping off a bit, then going to bed, not that big of a deal. But if it went down the way that Lisa Rinna is trying to make us believe it went down, where she's having this meltdown, she's screaming, she's breaking things, she's jumping on glasses, she's hitting the wall, she's hitting things, and Lisa Rinna is so scared that this whole thing is happening in this house, and she's turning everything upside down, she has PSD, she's locked in the closet, you best believe Mauricio would be like, hey, what the hell's going on? And he would step in and he would understand that, because that would be, sure, it would be abnormal. You know what I mean? We all have a tolerance level of someone being wasted and pissed off and popping off. But there's a different tolerance level for what Lisa Rinna is trying to claim happened. It doesn't track if Mauricio was staying at the Aspen house. Now, if Mauricio wasn't staying at the Aspen house, then sure, maybe what Lisa Rinna was saying is true and he just wasn't there to witness it. But then that's the even bigger question. Where were you sleeping, Mauricio? So if we're to believe Lisa Rinna, then where was Mauricio when this alleged epic PTSD-inducing meltdown happened? Where was he? Why wasn't he staying at the house? Why wasn't he staying with Kyle? See? It doesn't make sense. But if we're to believe Kathy, and she's just like, you know what? I had enough. I had enough and I popped off. Well, that tracks. That makes sense. You got pissed. You popped off. You went to bed and you had your husband get you the hell out of there because you were just done with the BS. That makes more sense. And to me, that would explain how Mauricio would be in his own home in Aspen, have Kathy be pissed at Kyle, and then the next day just be like, hey, where's Kathy? Because 2 fights between 2 sisters, honestly, that's not news. So something is not adding up. Something is not adding up. Again, let's watch it again, and then we'll wrap it up, guys.
We tried to go in her room. It was pitch dark, sleeping, and then she had text saying, I'm not flying back on the plane.
Well, I didn't see her when I went home today.
She's still sleeping.
Obviously.
Kathy's not on the plane.
So why is Kathy not here?
Has anyone checked or asked? We tried to go in her room. It was pitch dark, sleeping, and then she had text saying, I'm not flying back on the plane.
Well, I didn't see her when I went home today.
She's still sleeping.
Obviously.
Kathy's not on the plane.
All right. So we've watched it a few times now. And again, every time I listen to it, every time I watch it, to me, it seems like Mauricio is being genuine. It doesn't seem like he's faking anything. He's on the private jet. He's having a nice little sandwich. And he is just genuinely just like, where's Kathy? Which makes sense if we are to believe the most logical story. They were out at Caribou Club. They were still clowning on Kathy. Kathy was pissed. They had been drinking all day. They were dismissing her all day. She gets pissed. Lisa Rinna sees an opportunity to either get one over on Kathy, get some dirt on Kathy, randomly volunteers to take her back to the house when we all know Lisa Rinna cannot stand Kathy. They get into the Sprinter. Kathy's venting. She's probably wasted or at least had been drinking all day and tequila and all that stuff. She's venting. She's upset. She's pissed off. She is thinking Rinna is just there to listen, not to scheme and scam. They get back home. She's probably still popping off. She goes to her room. She talks to her husband. She goes to bed. She wakes up in the morning and she gets the hell out of there. That is the most logical situation. That makes sense why Mauricio is just like, well, where is she? And they're like, oh, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Right? It just doesn't make sense that Mauricio would have that response if it went down the way Lisa Rinna is claiming it went down. It just doesn't make sense. But again, I want to know what you guys think. Put it down in the comment section below. Do you think that Mauricio was even at the Aspen house? Do you think he's asking where Kathy is because he wasn't there? Who knows where he was? And maybe he wasn't there to witness the meltdown. Or do you think, no, Mauricio was definitely there, but Kathy was just pissed. She popped off. She went to bed. It was what it was. It wasn't that big of a deal. Or do you think maybe it was that big of a deal? You believe Rinna. She was popping off. She was destroying property. She was going crazy. And Mauricio just so happened to not notice or care at all. I don't know. You guys know where I stand. I think the most logical explanation is usually the truth. Lisa Rinna is lying. Mauricio had no idea where Kathy was because it really wasn't that big of a deal. But I love you guys. And before you comment below, you know what to do. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. Be sure to check out everything that's linked below in the description box and shop our love collection. Grab something for yourself or someone you love. Until next time, everybody, take care of yourself and each other. I love you. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review and join the conversation on Instagram at Candy Washington. Let's go!